Hey everybody, this is Mike Redzwiller here with MTGOacademy.com. This week I want to look at the Black-Red Tortured Existence deck, which won the Pauper Spotlight a couple weeks ago for Magic's 10th online anniversary, uh, the Spotlight tournament for that. So before we start, I just want to give you a quick rundown of the deck, what it's doing, how it works, and everything. It's essentially Pauper's version of Dredge. So you have your Stinkweed Imps and the Brown Scales, which also act as life gain, and you're basically just fueling your graveyard, so Tortured Existence, and then you're basically every turn you get the Stinkweed Imp back or the Brown Scale back, and then you pitch the Tortured Existence, and then your graveyard acts as a whole toolbox of whatever you need. So you can get the Mesmeric Fiends, the Carrion Feeders. The Mesmeric Fiends also have a lot of synergy in this deck with the Death Sparks and the Carrion Feeders, as well as the Fume Spitters. For those unfamiliar, how the Nightmare trigger works is when it enters the battlefield, they reveal their hand, and you pick a card from it, and then when it leaves the battlefield, that card goes back. So it's like Oblivion Ring for like with the rest, I guess. But if it leaves the battlefield before the first trigger resolves, then what happens is there's no card to return to their hand, and then the other card is just exiled forever. So you would use this effect, and then Death Spark it while it's on the stack, or Fume Spitter it while it's on the stack, or just sack it with Carrion Feeder, which is the best option because it's repeatable and you get a big creature out of it. Aside from that, Grave Grabular is really good. You could basically like flash it out in the play with Tortured Existence, and it gives you cards back. Faithless Looting does everything. It's going to be pitching cards, pitching the Dredge guys. It'll enable the Dredge guys with the draws. Gathens Raiders is a 5/5 beater that will just close out the game for you. Death Spark is an utility removal, as well as the mirror. And then the sideboard is pretty typical stuff. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure of how each matchup sideboard specifically, so that's going to be something to figure out on the fly. And I imagine it's going to be pretty tailored to the individual decks and what we see, and what we see from them and what they're running, and then we'll wing it. So what's one of the cool things about this variant is that you could have a lot of one-of creatures like the Gate Warden and the Chewer, and they'll still be pretty effective because the rate which you cycle through cards and just the use of the graveyard as a resource. And so it's a pretty controlling mid-range deck. So that's what it's doing. We'll start some matches and we'll see it in action. See you there. Thank you.